Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde, Jean-Guy Bourguignon on EFA18 on this Wednesday, April 15th. Today I want to talk about livelihood and dramatically, and the system. Very important here, the system. Because the system, I'm talking to the systems. You hear me talking about the systems on my EFA podcast here. But the system, are dramatically affecting the lives within the livelihoods of everyone. The system. And before I get into this today, questions were asked of me. I had a question from Anne last night on one of my podcasts yesterday, the EFA18, and one of the questions was specific to the Prime Minister of Canada and how he went out on Easter Sunday with his family. And what are my thoughts on this? And there's a lot of people. I was actually discussing it last night with a very, very close personal friend of mine. I've had different conversations on it, and people are angry. People are angry because why is the Prime Minister spending time with his family on Easter Sunday when he's telling everybody not to? And I'm going to tell you in part of my conversation and some intellectual conversation that balances out my message. I completely understand and respect the fact that he wants to spend time with his family on Easter, and I'm gonna agree that we all agree on this. And I'll guarantee you, like any other family, he has pressures from his spouses and children to spend time together on Easter, and we all agree on that, right? And the problem is, it's not him spending time with his family, and he's the prime minister of this country. Just like all ministers in the provinces and politicians, your life is not yours. When you become a politician, the days of your lives, the hourglass of time doesn't belong to you. You end up working a schedule like right now, very long schedules. So there's times where, as human beings, we need the loving interaction of those that we love and respect. And in this case, for Mr. Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, his wife and children, correct? He wants to be with them. That is not the issue. The issue is his communication. And if people grassroots, if we were to think about this, the issue is not him spending time with his family on Easter. First of all, he's the prime minister of this country. If he wants to spend time with his family on Easter, he should be able to. He should be able to, without being the prime minister of this country, spend time with his family. And he should too. And we are all abiding by the rules and regulation of COVID-19 imposed to us by the government, which is the system. Different systems, but these are systems. Systems are telling us to stay at home, not to participate, not to cooperate with anything outside our nest, our tribe, our family, or nucleus, right? And then he goes off with his entourage and spends time with his family. That's the issue. And this is where people in the grassroots and your social media world, and etc., people get upset. They're upset because just say it. All you have to do, before I get into my spiel here, all you have to do is, you know what? We've been separated. We've been quarantined. We've been tested. We are good. We are good. We know that we are good. It's my wife and children. I'm going to spend time with them, and that's my nest, and that's my nucleus. And I'm not going around with everybody else. These are the people, as the Prime Minister of Canada, that I need around me, and these are the people that I live with, and that I'm my loving immediate nest. So these are the people I need to be with at all times, right? So they're all tested. We're all good. We're going to be spending time together at Easter. That's it. That's the message, right? Not say do this and do that. The old kings and queens do as they say, not as they do, right? The kings of everything. That's what people don't want. They don't want that message. And I'm going to go right back into what I said earlier about lives and livelihoods, because all our lives are being affected. All our livelihood are being affected. Hence why people get upset that a prime minister is spending time with his family on Easter. Right? But the system, all these systems that are imposing on us, other systems, right? We are all caught into this. And now the system is affecting the lives within the livelihoods. And I'm gonna go granular on this. I go, what we are systematically doing, because number one, human beings are programmable. We all agree. Human beings are programmable, whether it's government, whether it's religion, whether it's whatever. I could take a human being and take it from parents at this stage of their life where they would have grown up to be this, and given to a completely different culture, different religion, different ethnicity, different geographical area on earth, same child, same DNA, same heart, same lungs, same everything. There'll be two different human beings, completely different human beings, the way they view life, see life, etc. They might have the same DNA, same characteristics they would have had, but they would have a completely different thought process. If you don't agree to that, so be it. But that's the reality right now. And human beings, when I talk about programmable, we are all programmable. We are now being programmed. Businesses are being programmed. Remember, the businesses that are already running on razor thin margins, because we live in a society with fees and taxation all going into the same pot with so many hands in our pockets. We live in that society now. These businesses that have the razor thin profit margins, that can't put pensions aside, that cannot put benefits aside, that don't have extras, 1 to 2 or 3 months rent ahead of them, that's it, right? All those businesses are being trained how to run efficiently without employees, are being trained that maybe I don't need that commercial space. I could run it here remotely and do everything electronically. So I gotta save a few $1,000s a month towards my family and my pension and my benefits. Right, we're teaching that, and then we're gonna that teaching those employees. A lot of those employees will be going back to no jobs because there'll be businesses closing. There will be bankruptcies. There will be closures. There will be less jobs because people can run more efficiently running the same businesses. That's going to affect employees, which all that affects families, affects communities, affects right the whole system. We're teaching people how to do this, and then when you want to talk about mental health days, you want to talk about mental health day, you're going to be talking about mental health months. That's what you're going to be talking about, mental health year, because the mental health of individuals, the ones that the grassroots that have been working hard on what they've been building, and then it's a sudden stop, just like that, sudden stop, right? And there's no more cash flow coming in. And remember, the razor red businesses, the thin margin line, now there's no more economy coming in. They're making things do. Some businesses can't pivot their production line. Some businesses cannot even operate at all. Some of them could operate on a very minimal schedule and minimal everything. Some of them can operate by telephone and computers only, remotely taking in orders, but that's it. The production, the money, everything coming in has just kind of dissipated or gone down. Some of them are doing well with minimal employees because they were able to pivot their production line. But the majority, a big bulk, a percentage, even if a small percentage, there'll be suicides, there'll be bankruptcies, there'll be closures, there'll be loss of jobs, there'll be a lot of things. And then I'm going to look at this side. There's people out there that really don't mind the money coming in, the sit at home people. And again, rose colored glasses, if you don't believe in that. If you don't believe there's people out there that really enjoy the money coming in, don't have to work, could stay at home, could put their feet up, spend more family time, whatever. But the people, the money coming in at home people, there is a percentage of them out there. They're loving this. And then you have the people that love a socialist system, that do love a socialist system. And I'm speaking to you right now. Go ahead, go to your lineups, go and enjoy them. Go and take a number and wait for it. Wait a couple of days, wait 2 3 days. We don't have it today. We can't make it anymore. They don't make it anymore. That manufacturer's closed. You love that? There's your system. You want lineups. You want to wait for things. You want to be told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. There's your system. And it's just a little candy, a little tic tac in your mouth of a system for you to just get an appreciation of. That some people would love that system. But the grassroots, like I mentioned on many of my podcasts, we don't want this system. We want to change the system. And you, the big system that just came in there, like I'm going to take a business, and a business that grows. Okay, that couple, that man, that woman, that person that started that business, and they flourished it, right? Planted that seed. They nurtured that seed. They started growing that business. That business became more profitable, and all of a sudden they started adding employees. But then they had to raise their profit, their margin lines. They have to raise that a bit so that they can hire more employees because there are more contracts coming in. And then they want to, maybe I want to take my family on a trip once a year, maybe, right? Or maybe I'm going to try to put some money aside for pension, that kind of stuff. So they raise their profitability a bit. They have to have order more materials and more product. And then they have to hire more employees because they're getting bigger. So the margins go down again. The profitability goes down again. But the business is getting bigger. They're providing members of a family, providing members of society, providing members of community. Then the community comes knocking at the door, looking for sponsorships or looking for donations, and more hands come in your pocket, more agencies come in your pocket, more systems come in your pocket, take more money out, and you're building that business and etc. And then like a car crash, just like a car crash, you're going to shut your door. You're not going to operate. You're not going to do anything, or you're going to operate at this criteria. And we're all doing it for the right reasons. At least we think we are, right? At least we think we are. We have pandemics and viruses now that seem to always come and originate from very similar processes that still haven't been rectified in 2020, right? So we're all bowing to the system and to comply and cooperate and etc. But then the system is affecting the lives within the livelihoods of those that built this nation, of those that are creating jobs and produce jobs, that produce economies, that produce a lot of the parks and recreation and systems that you know that are in place come from these grassroots organizations and businesses and families and etc. And that's why I take off the rose-colored glasses, right? Because ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. And I can't wait for the day that I have podcasts with individuals, intellectual individuals that have substance behind them, those that have walked the path of life, that speak from knowledge, training, and experience. I can't wait to have those podcasts. And there's individuals in my mind I can't wait to sit with and converse with so that we can educate the mass. And we educate the grassroots with facts. We have so many internet doctors now and so many internet specialists and so many social media, everything, right? Everybody knows everything. Everybody can do anything until they actually, here you go. Here's the keys to the business. Here's the keys to the grassroots of this nation. And like a lead balloon, it'll crash down to the earth. Because people have rose-colored glasses on and they don't. I'm a realist, and people don't know that about. I'm a realist, and when I'm speaking from the voices of the grassroots that I balance out. And this is why I'm speaking to you, the system, the lives that you're dealing with within the livelihoods. And I wrote the definitions here. I actually wrote this definition. Livelihood is defined as a means of securing the necessities of life. Okay, so define as a means to securing the necessities of life. And when I say dramatically stands for define a strikingly large amount or to a strikingly large extent, greatly. So we are greatly, dramatically affecting the lives within the livelihoods of the grassroots of our nation, whether it's through programming, whether it's this whole system of control, the failures, the bankruptcies, mental health days, teaching people how to run businesses without employees, teaching people how to run businesses without locations. We're changing the grassroots here. We're changing the fabrics of our society. So if you think we're going to go back to normalcy, there's going to be a lot of changes. And with hope, cooperation, there's a lot of fingers pointing going on out there. They caused it, they didn't do the job, a lot of finger pointing going on out there, right? But we as a nation, we as the grassroots have to make this work. So again, I'm speaking to you, the system, the leaders, the decision makers, the ones that sign the final documents, right? Be mindful of the lives within the livelihoods of the grassroots of this nation. That is the foundation of our nations. The foundation of our nations. I'm speaking to democratic leaders. And there's nations on this earth that life means nothing. There's nations on this earth that will decapitate you if you leave your house or shoot you in the head if you leave your house. But I'm talking to the leaders of this globe, of this world, this planet that we're on, the democratic leaders of our nation. When you're writing your documents, think of the grassroots, think of the ripple effect of the lives within the livelihoods of the foundations of our nations. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA18, thank you, merci, have yourselves a wonderful week.